Mexico 8 Whiskey Lima Oscar. This morning I thought I would set up MSHV to work with the Flex for FT8. I haven't done any FT8 for a while, so I just thought it'd be a little bit of a learning experience to understand the settings and how to do it. So I've got it currently running on 7074 for the 40 meter band, and I'm running it on the Splice A. So just for a quick reference, so if you go into the settings on here, you set it into DIGU, so digital upper sideband mode, and you put it on 3 kilohertz bandwidth, and you also make sure that you haven't got any noise blanker, noise reduction, or any of the filters in place. So you can do a split. You can split it across so you can carry on using your radio, but of course you can use your multifunction as well. So the second thing you have to do then is go to DAX. So you go to your DAX setting and you set it to a channel that you want to use. Now this number here is reflective of what you select in your DAX and you select on your software, but so for simplicity I'm going to leave it on channel 1. Okay, once you've got this in place, the next thing you need to do is over on the right hand side here, you need to ensure that DAX is highlighted, and you're also going to put your output on a relevant power level. So I've got mine set to 40. I've also got PC's output 40, and the reason for that is you don't want to overdrive your output. You should need to keep it really under 30 watts, just so that you don't burn out your radio. So that's set there to on the right hand side here, that's set to, mine's set to 40, but I've actually turned my mic down, and we can confirm that just by watching the power meter up here. We can see that it's running about 30 watts on the output. It's running about 30 watts on the output. So once you've got that set up, so we've got DAX 1, Digi upper sideband, and we've got all that set as going, we go to our MSHV software. Now if you're running from scratch, I'm going to go through all the settings as if we're setting it up from new. So let me just stop mine from running, which is auto off. Okay, so the first things you need to do is put your call sign in, which is under macros. So go to macros and you put your call sign in here. So mine is Mexico 8 Whiskey Lima Oscar. And then you do set default macros, and what that does is it generates all your call signs and outgoing messages to go for FT8 to be in your own, with your own call sign. I set mine also to miles because I'm old and I like to see what that is in miles. And yeah, so that's the first thing you do, is set your macro. Okay, then you come back up again and you go to options and you go to sound settings. So under sound settings, this is where I said that you need to know the channel you chose. So for output devices, you set to DAX Audio TX, which is the standard DAX output transmission. But then under input devices, you select the channel that's related to the number that you selected previously. So mine is DAX Audio channel 1. So that's DAX Audio RX1 for receiving 1. Okay, and that's all you need to do in this section here. Now, the next thing you need to do is you need to ensure that your CAT is set up for receiving. So you go to your CAT controls and you add a new receiver. Now, I've added one just for MHSV on TCP. So I've called it MSHV. It's CAT control. It's TCP IP, and it's on port 6000. Okay, so it's set up a standalone controller just on TCP, local TCP, for MSHV to use. It just separates it from any other controllers or anything that are coming in there. So you click save there, and then you go back to your MSHV software and you go to your interface control. Now on your interface control, you can see there I've put in server 127001, which is the same computer, and port 60,000, the same port that I created there. You can then click test and it should go green if that's working. Now I actually use the mode to use for CAT as PTT via cat command. It's just habit. It will actually work via PTT via RTS, but just habit. I've done PTT via cat. Now the baud rate, it sets itself, but I know it can go up to 115,000. Now what you can do in the background is you can put your radio speakers off, you know, on as it were, sorry, so that you can hear what's going on here. Just click that and come back to the software. Right, I'm going to turn that down. Come back to the software and you can do a PTT test. So we click that and we can hear it's keying up. Okay, I'm just going to go back to the radio and just turn that off. Just we've confirmed that that's working. And we come back to the MSHV software. So we've now got the connection to the radio. We got the connection to 127001 on port 60,000. Okay, so that's now done. I think we're pretty much there on that perspective. So the next thing we're going to come on, just checking out there's not anything else that I've forgotten here. No. Okay, so next thing you need to do is actually make sure that your DAX is set at the right level. So you come down to your little DAX icon and you pull that up. Now you should have two blue lights here. So the RX stream here, that's the output that's going to your software, and the TX stream is the mic gain. Now actually I've got my mic gain on 45. This kind of stops it from doing any clipping. You use this in conjunction with the RX out level, just to ensure that you don't exceed your 30 watts. Okay, and then on the RX stream, this part here is directly related to this green bar over here. It's not focusing for some reason. There we go, this little green bar here. So with this green bar, you want to keep it kind of in the middle. So you can adjust this level here up and down. I'll slide this while I'm looking at the green bar, right? So we look at the green bar and we slide it up and down. So I'm sliding down, you can see that the level's actually disappearing, and I'm going to push it back up, and I'm trying to get it somewhere in the middle there, just to keep it nice and neat. So the green bar, which is here, is somewhere in the middle. Right, okay. Sorry for the shakiness. I'm not using a tripod. In hindsight, I probably should have. Okay, so if this is working, then you'll see that TX streaming will have a level when it's transmitting, and RX streams should be showing the feed. Now, if we go back to the software, we can confirm this is working. By now, monitors should be on. That's what's making the this part move. So monitor on, that's showing that the signals are coming in, and that basically, the monitor on feeds the left window. Okay, the auto is off down here, and I run mine in auto mode, but auto is off. If we change that to auto is on, and we go back to DAX, sorry, auto is on, we go back to the DAX software, now you'll see that we're getting the transmission one going up and down. So we can see that that is transmitting at this moment in time, and now that it's stopped transmitting because it's a staggered thing going on with FT8. It transmits and it receives, transmits and receives. Now the true confirmation is if I clear these messages, I'll clear these messages and we clear that one, is that if it's working properly, when it's next on its receive stage, which should be any second, we should start to see messages arriving in the left hand window. So fingers crossed, we start seeing some any second. I might need to just tweak my RX receive level, because I've literally adjusted that now, and I know they are coming in. There we go. So they're coming in there. You can see the messages are coming in, and then under the transmit window over here, you can see that my computer is calling CQ. So I can't repeat again, but make sure you do not have your output power over 25-35 watts, because if you run it at full power all the time, you will blow the circuits inside your flex. It's not designed no radio is designed to run full power. Anyway, I hope that's been useful. Mexico 8 Whiskey Lima Oscar.